Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the Oral-B Genius X Smart Electric Toothbrush. Now, when you hear the phrase smart tech, you don't normally think of toothbrushes, but this is where AI has gained massively in the last few years. And a lot of the time, the benefits we notice from AI are just things that we take for granted. It's things like your voice assistant recognising what you're asking for much better than it did, say, 5-10 years ago. I think probably a lot of us who've used iPhones for a long time can relate to how bad Siri was in the old days. And of course, some of the smartest AI technology is found in electric cars, especially things like the Tesla when it can sense what's going on around you. Now, the Oral-B Genius X is a way of taking some of this technology and applying it to an electric toothbrush. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about the Oral-B Genius X and some of its features and how I've found using it over the last 3 weeks. So let's start off with what it is and what makes it a smart toothbrush rather than just your regular electric toothbrush. So the Oral-B Genius X connects to your phone via Bluetooth and gives you real-time feedback on your brushing. This includes recognising where in your mouth the toothbrush currently is. I'm going to show you how this works as the video goes on, but I'm going to talk about the kind of design and the specs as we start. It's also worth saying right at the start that this is not a cheap product, and it has a recommended retail price of £300. That being said, you can pretty regularly pick them up on sale for about £110. Now, this still isn't cheap, but it's by no means the most expensive smart electric toothbrush out there, but I think it packs in all the features that you need. In terms of colours, it comes in a choice of black or rose gold. The great thing about the black one is that it comes with a black head and a black carry case, and so it looks sleek and modern. The slightly weird thing is that the charger is still white. The design of it is pretty much like every electric toothbrush out there. The body is rounded, and the black actually makes it look a little bit more modern in my opinion. The front of it has some lights for the different modes, although it'll probably take you a while to understand those symbols, and it also has the Bluetooth connectivity light. It's also on the front you'll find the on-off button. The base of the device is where it charges, and it simply sits onto that dock. And it charges via your traditional bathroom power socket. Finally, it's worth saying the toothbrush also has a light on top. This is used as an indicator for it being on, but also if you're brushing too hard. In terms of setup, it is super easy. You simply download the Oral-B app, register yourself an account, and then when you turn on the toothbrush, it picks up your toothbrush. From then on, whenever you want to use the toothbrush and track your brushing, you just open the app and then turn on the toothbrush, and it connects pretty much instantly. The toothbrush itself has 6 modes you can go between. There's a daily clean, there's a pro clean, there's a sensitive mode, a whitening mode, a gum mode, and a tongue cleaning mode. Now, most of the time, you're just going to use the daily clean mode unless you really want to geek out with those modes. Some of the smart features built in also include protecting your gums. This is about having a pressure control and knowing when you're brushing too hard or perhaps when you're brushing your gums and reducing the pressure if it needs to. That light on the top can also alert you if you're brushing too hard. The built-in timer also means that its oscillation changes very slightly for a short period of time every 30 seconds, so you know how far through the 2 minutes brushing you are. Now, Oral-B claimed that it has 2 weeks battery life. This is based on using it for 2 minutes a day, twice a day. Now, I've been using it for 3 weeks and it's still got a little bit of battery left in it. And so actually I'd say Oral-B are probably slightly underestimating the battery life of this device. You can, however, see the battery status within the app. This is useful for knowing when you need to charge it. So let's move on to what it's like to use. So if you don't want to use the app, the first question is, why did you buy a smart electric toothbrush to start with? But if you don't want to use the app, and you don't have to, it behaves pretty much like any other electric toothbrush. You can select the mode, you can brush your teeth, and it lets you know every 30 seconds during that 2-minute cycle. It also doesn't stop automatically at the end if you want to keep on going. The app and the real-time feedback from me, however, is what makes this worth the purchase, especially if, like me, you want to try and improve your dental hygiene. So when you start brushing with the app open, a screen appears on the app that shows you in real time where the toothbrush is. This also shows you a timer. This diagram basically divides your mouth up into 6 parts, kind of left, right and centre for both top and bottom. Now, the AI feature is basically what allows the toothbrush to recognise where in your mouth it is. Now, what I've found in using this for a few weeks is that typically it assumes you're starting at the front, and so if you start somewhere else, it can take a little bit of time just to catch up with where you actually are, but it does catch up with where you are. Once it's initially sussed out where you started, as you move around, it's incredibly accurate, and actually it's really cool to see. And what you see within the app is on that diagram, the longer you brush a particular area, the more white it gets. This is a really good way of seeing in real time the coverage that you're making when you brush your teeth. If you want to go for a really methodical approach, the brush vibrating every 30 seconds also gives you an idea of when it's time to move on to a different part of your mouth. After you're done brushing, you're given some prompts. These are questions like, did you experience gum bleeding? Have you flossed? Have you used mouthwash? Have you cleaned your tongue? This allows you to record some of that extra data in the app, and if you experience a lot of gum bleeding, it will say maybe it's time to see a dentist. The other thing you see in the app at this point is a percentage rating for the quality of your brushing. This is useful if you want to try and improve on that each time, and if you find yourself a little bit competitive wanting to increase that percentage. Putting competitiveness with yourself aside, this is actually a really good way of keeping track of the quality of your brushing rather than just swishing a toothbrush around your mouth. There's also some options in the app for setting up particular programs and goals, so if your goal was gum health, you could set up a gum health program and track that progress. If you're an Apple user, this app can also sync with the Apple Health app, although the only data that actually goes across into health is the length of time you spent brushing. The app also has a few other features, some of which I've mentioned already. So you can view the battery status of your toothbrush, you can set up some coaching goals, and then you can also monitor your brushing history. If I'm being completely honest, most of these features are pretty gimmicky. The battery life is really useful, and seeing how well you've brushed is also incredibly useful though. So what's the verdict? Is the Oral-B Genius X any good, and is it time for a smart electric toothbrush? Now personally, as someone who loves useful technology, I think it's really good, and I actually think the AI smart features are genuinely improving my brushing. I think the real-time feedback is really helpful, and for me, I find having that timer and that feedback on screen really motivational when I'm brushing my teeth. I guess the real question is it worth the full £300? And if I'm being honest, the answer is absolutely not. That being said, however, these kind of electric toothbrushes do tend to last a long time, and so if you're coming at the kind of £100 price mark, I actually don't think it's too bad when you think about how long you're going to use it for. If you guys want to pick one up, I have put a link below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. If you've got any questions about this toothbrush as well, do stick it below, because all the technology I review on this channel, unless I tell you otherwise, is tech that I have purchased myself for me to use, and so it is stuff that I use on an ongoing basis. I'll see you guys again soon.